Now, back to Silver Moments with Dr. Marsha Baltimore.
So what would you do if you were the lady who's telling the husband, I feel like you've shut down, and the husband gets angry at her for that? He said this was supposed to be a Saturday night date, not a discussion of our communication, and he wanted to leave. My advice here would be, don't try to diagnose your partner or your relationship over a dinner table in a restaurant. Just initiate closeness to him by setting up the dinner date and going with him and thanking him for taking you out. And you don't have to do dishes and cook and set and walk back and forth to the oven, and you don't have to do any of that. He took it away from me. He let you have a night away from that. So thank him for that. And then if you think you still have a problem with your communication, go to a psychologist and get somebody in the room with the two of you to hear it. Because I think there was a big distance between the husband and the wife here in the restaurant. He was expecting a date, and she was expecting to tell him she didn't like his communication. So she didn't give him the right vibes, and he got defensive, and he wanted to walk out on her. So if you want to talk about a problem in your marriage, go to a counselor. If you want to get close to your guy, go to dinner. It's that simple. Take him, maybe if you work, you have a little money. I think you could, or ask him for a date, whatever way you go. But the conversation on the date is different from the conversation in the office. So that's what I'm saying here from some of the rules of marriage. Don't blindside your husband. Don't blindside your wife. And when your kids need a little extra loving care, get your grandma. Get their grandma, one of your mothers, or both, grandparents. And they'll be happy to do it, I'm sure. They like to visit with their grandkids. I do. So I think they would like it too. I have not much else to say, and I think we're leaving pretty soon. But I can read you some of these rules that the lady puts in, Dr. Lerner, into her book, and you can see for yourself where she's going. She's saying, forget about normal sex. She's saying, be experimental. Stamp your sex fantasy normal. Your fantasy is now normal. Don't wait until you're, quote, in the mood. Raise your laundry consciousness. Women, tell your partner what you want. Men, try not to be defensive. And pursuers, stop pursuing. And distancers, stop distancing. This fellow was distancing himself in this diagram I just gave you before. And the woman was pursuing him, the wife, and wrongly so. Now, set limits, and don't make your partner's affair, if he has one or she has one, a deal breaker. There's more at stake than an affair. Go to a counselor and get it straight and fall in love again. Become his other woman. So I felt that you should think before you leap into anything, and don't talk about divorce without a third professional in the room. Now, there are other little things about marriage. How do you get to a remarkable marriage? You get the big picture. You draw a family tree, for example. My grandson's always saying, who was Samuel in our family, Grandma? Who was Samuel? Who was Rebecca? So I'm saying that's your great grandparents. I'm your grandmother, and those guys were double great. So I draw the tree for him. I get the pictures out. Make the family important to the kids, to your spouse, your family to hers, his family to yours, whatever. So everybody knows everybody counts. That's the whole thing. Don't stew around. Don't keep it in the back burner. Discuss it. And thank you very much for listening.